Accutron watches present The Accutron Show, a time travel through American culture, with your hosts David Graver and Indrani. Visit AccutronWatch.com and discover the brand that has made American history with an all-new proprietary next-generation electrostatic energy movement. Accutron. It's not a timepiece, it's a conversation piece.
In my culture, everything has a purpose, a place, so that we don't misuse, abuse, or take that for granted. That includes the words that come out of our mouth. I'm a huge advocate for Indigenous language in preserving, retaining, and educating.
The person you heard at the top of today's show is our guest, Eugene Braverock, one of the world's best-known Indigenous actors. But first, David Graver and I, Indrani Palchodri, are here on a new episode of The Accutron Show. Stay tuned.
This podcast is presented by Accutron Watches. Visit our website, AccutronWatch.com, and discover our iconic SpaceView 2020 collection, recreating the stunning visual impact of the original open-dial design, combined with an all-new electrostatic energy movement. Time just changed. Again. The Accutron SpaceView 2020.
Indrani, it's us again. Welcome back to a new episode of The Accutron Show.
I'm thrilled to be here.
Likewise, it's so lovely to see you as always. And I think today's guest, again, is a friend of yours.
Eugene Braverock is just an extraordinary human. When I first met him, he came into the studio and he's a very powerful individual. And I was a little taken aback. I was like, wow, how am I going to light him? Everything, I'd set it all up down here. I had to extend it all. And then he opened his mouth and this beautiful voice came out, so gentle and humble. And I knew that it was going to be an extraordinary shoot.
The most powerful thing about Eugene, perhaps, is that not only is he a well-known, a globally known actor, he's also an advocate for the preservation of Indigenous language worldwide. Have you worked with him in that capacity as well?
I have, and it's been really exciting. We've been working on not only the Blackfoot culture, but bringing the technologies that are available to empower Indigenous communities around the world so that young people can film and photograph and capture the language of their elders and help to preserve them and in the process learn them themselves, because they're often disincentivized from being able to spend time with their elders and learn. And so there's not only language, there's culture, there's medicines, there's healing modalities, that all of these are being lost, the stories, the mythologies that shape humanity in so many ways. So it's very important that we succeed in this endeavor.
Eugene had sort of a dream linguistic role where he was able to speak in the Blackfoot language in the global superhero blockbuster Wonder Woman. That is a milestone for not only representation, but linguistic representation. That's powerful in so many ways.
Absolutely. And the way he gets things done, it's with gentleness and kindness and humility that he was able to shape a massive blockbuster like that into a vehicle that allowed his people to be seen and heard.
I'm definitely curious to know, or to explore with him, how he balances acting and advocacy, how they go hand in hand, because his approach is different than everyone else. They are bound, they are interwoven, and I think that's really important to see. I also think it's rather inspiring.
Absolutely. I think that what he's doing by pushing the importance of language, he's really helping us all to remember how we're interconnected, because language is the primary means of communication. And without that, we really lose the meaning of our lives.
Language does convey culture. It really does. Do you speak other languages?
I do. I speak Bengali and Latin and French, a little Italian. But I lost a lot of my initial Bengali, and so I decided to learn Sanskrit. And
Oh, wow.
I helped to reinstate it at Princeton and create a South Asian Studies program because that language has been lost mostly around the world.
Yes. I took Latin in high school and in college, and I feel like it helped me with the English language, but it has not propelled me as an international citizen.
Well, I think it's so interesting to look at those ancient parts of the human endeavors and the ways that we have expressed ourselves in the past, and the way language is changing really shows a lot about how we're evolving or devolving.
Well, I look forward to exploring language with you and Eugene on this episode of The Accutron Show.
This podcast is presented by Accutron Watches. Visit our website, accutronwatch.com, and discover our Accutron DNA collection. Reimagined for a new generation, the Accutron DNA combines breakthrough technology, precise engineering, and modern aesthetics to achieve a new level of technical excellence. The Accutron DNA, the new face of time for those who blaze new trails.
I'm so happy to be here with Eugene Braverock, one of the most interesting people that I know, and I'm very honored to be able to call you my friend, working together over a few years on really important projects. Eugene's one of the best-known Indigenous actors worldwide, and more important than his brilliant acting is his advocacy work as well. So, Eugene, I'm just really happy to get to spend time with you again.
Yes, me too. I'm very thankful for you, Andrani, for your friendship and the connection that we made when we first met in Los Angeles a couple years back, when I had the opportunity to be blessed with the cover of Dress to Kill magazine. The photos that you took they're amazing. One of my favorite photos that I've taken. I've taken a million photos in my life, and that one was one that definitely was a step up in my, I think it opened up some doors for me in my career and gave me a lot of exposure. Thank you.
Is that how the two of you met for this photo shoot?
That's right. We were on this shoot, and I didn't know what to expect, but I really wanted to help the magazine to go beyond the usual fashion and to really embrace Eugene and his amazing culture and vibrance. And so we did this story celebrating his culture, wearing his traditional clothes on the cover of a fashion magazine. And it was the first time that they'd had an Indigenous person, and the first time someone was wearing a suit that wasn't this kind of suit.
Yes. Eugene, would you, for people who are learning about Blackfoot culture for the first time now, would you tell us a little bit about it?
Blackfoot culture. In my culture, everything has a purpose, a place, so that we don't misuse, abuse, or take that for granted. That includes the words that come out of our mouth. I'm a huge advocate for Indigenous language in preserving, retaining, and educating. I feel that the power of Indigenous languages is vital. It's a connection to our past and a pathway to the future. So I had the opportunity to do the major motion picture Wonder Woman, and I had the opportunity to speak my language. It was the first time my language has been heard on that scale, that platform. And it's fed my passion or my dream to retain and preserve some of those stories and the significance of the words. There's so many meanings. The meaning behind our words, every word has a story, giving it life so that we don't misuse, abuse, or take things for granted. Especially, everything that comes out of our mouth is it's like, it's energy. It's something I don't think that English really gets into as deep as Indigenous languages. So it's nice to be able to show the value system and parallels when it comes to language. And when we're talking about greetings, just for example, I have a program called the Oki Language Project, which is based on greetings, celebrating the greetings across America. I have a journey of going from the Pomo in California to the Seminoles in Florida, celebrating, expressing those greetings. And they're not all the same. It doesn't mean hi. So the Oki Language Project, Oki refers back to water, which is Oki, that gives life. So when I say hello to you, I'm actually wishing you good life. So it's I was raised by my grandmother, and I had the opportunity to be surrounded by elders and stories, and I want to get back to that and honoring our elders, listening to their stories, coming with protocol, as we say in the Indigenous community, and retaining those stories to leave a legacy of who we are and where we come from our elders that are still with us today.
It's so beautiful, Eugene. Share with us what happens if we lose those valuable languages around the world.
We lose context to a culture. We lose context to life. Our words, again, each word has a story to it. Sometimes that word the story might take 2 weeks to tell the story of that one word. But again, it gives us that connection to the past, where it comes from, why it's valuable. Everything has a purpose and a place in our society. And again, that includes things that come out of our mouth.
How can people participate? How can people assist in your advocacy work so that languages are not lost?
I think that, I'm at okilanguageproject.org. I do have a art auction coming up in late October, where I have many great artists, Indigenous, non-Indigenous. I have I have some celebrities on my council to give me some a little bit more exposure, including Andrani, she's on council, as well as Wes Studi, he's on McLaren, Jessica Matten, Kiowa Gordon, Chris Ayer, pretty much the whole cast and crew of one of the shows I just did for Darkwood or AMC. So my journey, again, it's about learning and giving back to the communities as well that I do visit, that I'm honored to. Everywhere I go on my journey, I'm even now, I'm always wondering or researching, whose land am I standing on? I know that 99, or I don't know, but I'm going to guess and say that 99.9% of every American doesn't know whose land they stand on. So for me to give our elders that opportunity to give a land acknowledgement, and also just to pay respect and educate everybody else. I think that there's a lot that our country has, the Native American community has, we have brought a lot to, how do I put this? There's so much that we have sacrificed, and I think every American has the right to live the American dream, to work, to have children, to grow, to prosper. But I don't think anybody ever understands that the Indigenous community has lost lost pieces of that, the culture, the language, the history, due to the progression. And again, I'm in the moment right now, I'm very thankful for every step that I've taken, because it's given me a platform to now go out into our communities and to share, to be able to retain those stories and also inspire our youth to do the same. When I was growing up, one of the most important things I was told was, remember who you are and where you come from. And that goes a lot to do with even greetings. I'm trying to capture some of the essence of our value systems and how some of the parallels are not even parallel. And for example, when we greet each other, my greeting to come into if I was meeting you for the first time, I would say I would recognize myself by acknowledging where I come from and who I come from. And that is, we call it 60 gigs to be Blackfoot country. And I would acknowledge my parents, my grandparents, which clan I came from. And in today's society, I'm Gene Braverock, and these are all the movies that I did. So that goes back to ego. So that's one of the value systems that I'm trying to instill and to retain some of those value systems for education purposes and for our generations coming up.
I think many actors tend to act first, advocate second, but with you, it's woven so naturally, so authentically, and so powerfully. How have you balanced both of these parts of your life?
I think that's just come with experience, growing up, being raised by my grandmother, being instilled with the values of who I am and where I come from, and just every step that I've taken has been an experience to learn from. I've had so many experiences that have, even the negative experiences, even growing up, have really influenced me. And I'm thankful that I'm at a place now where I can understand why I went through these trials and tribulations. When it comes to growing up and being surrounded, in the community that I grew up in, it was the community just on the edge of the reservation. And I experienced a lot of issues that now I can reflect on that were negative, but I can turn it into a positive thing because it's given me that emotional compass where I can reach down into those feelings and emotions and bring them back to life. And, I just, I'm very thankful for my awareness and my feelings and communication that I can express those.
What did it feel like to become one of the best known actors in the Indigenous world, to be in Wonder Woman with Gal Gadot? What was that experience like?
Thank you for that acknowledgement. For me, it is a dream come true. It is I think that believing has been so important for me. And I feel like, when I was young, I remember watching an Indigenous program and seeing an Indigenous man on a horse, and that's what inspired me. And I feel like my life is surreal. I'm very blessed and very thankful. I'm thankful for the footsteps that I'm taking, and I ask guidance for the footsteps I'm about to take, because I think I'm taking footsteps that none of my people have taken, or very few have. And it's unbelievable. I mean, to get the opportunity to speak my language in a superhero movie is, I can give myself a pat on the back. But again, it was very organic. And I want to give Patty Jenkins a big, huge thank you for giving me that opportunity. I think that connection and that respect for cultural identity was amazing. And then again, thank you to Patty Jenkins and DC Comics.
I really think it enriched the movie, to be able to learn from a superhero movie about a culture that is so vibrant and so beautiful, and for you to advocate for that, it must have been really a very challenging experience, getting this massive role and then pushing it even further to be able to include your language and your culture.
It was very amazing to take back that narrative and bring back to life, or I don't want to say bring back to life, but so in doing that show, I also had the opportunity to bring a Blackfoot deity to I don't want to say to life, but bring it to the big screen. When I was young, the stories that I heard when I was young, they're called Napi stories, and every story you learn what not to do by watching him do it. He's a trickster character. It's So, and that wasn't scripted, which again, I'm thankful for Patty for giving me that opportunity to, again, be able to share those Napi stories. And, I thought, if Wonder Woman's father is Zeus, so that, why can't there be a Blackfoot deity in there as well? And so that came about by, again, the respect for Patty, acknowledging the cultural sensitivity in being called the chief.
Yes.
And she mentioned to me, she was like, based on, so this was kind of a surprise to me because I didn't actually know what I was doing. They flew me to London before they told me. They didn't verbally tell me or they didn't tell me which role this was for. I didn't know I was even auditioning for the movie Wonder Woman. And they didn't tell me till I actually flew to London for my wardrobe fitting. And so when she said, well, based on DC comic book characters, I can't change the name. So my eyes went big, and she said that's when she revealed that it was for the movie Wonder Woman, and that I didn't have to ever call myself the chief, that I can introduce myself in my indigenous language, and she gave me the opportunity to come up with that name.
That's so powerful.
It is powerful.
Especially because it influenced the whole world. It made its way around the world through a vessel that is a DC superhero movie. Eugene, thank you for being with us. We're just going to take a break to hear a little bit more from Accutron.
This podcast is presented by Accutron Watches. Visit our website, accutronwatch.com, and discover our legacy collection. Reviving some of the most memorable Accutron watches from the 60s and 70s, the Legacy Collection combines timeless design with the technical excellence of Swiss watchmaking, each limited to 600 individually numbered pieces. The Accutron Legacy Collection, inspired by the past, built for your future.
Welcome back to the Accutron Show. We're here with Eugene Braverock, talking about his extraordinary career.
Eugene, I'm wondering if you could take us a little bit through your acting path. How did you enter that world?
My acting path. You know what? The beginning of my career, I started. So it started probably at the age of whenever the movie Geronimo came out. That was my aha moment of feeling that pride of seeing an indigenous man on a horse. That's what really inspired me. Steve Rivas was his name. He was a stuntman on the movie Geronimo. And I remember that moment of, hey, someday I'm going to be on a movie riding a horse, I feel awkward sometimes calling myself an actor. I'd rather call myself a storyteller. I did not go to, I had some acting training, but, the majority of my friends went through acting school. But, as a storyteller, storytelling is our oldest tradition, so I'm thankful to be able to carry that on in a contemporary way. My first opportunity to act was actually theatrical. And then I did a couple spots of, I think my first on-screen appearance was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And,
oh, wow.
And what was the other one? Mystery Alaska. You know what? When I first got into that part of the business, I realized it wasn't viable to be, you can't live on a extra's wage. And you know what? Again, but I had the opportunity to do another HBO special. I think Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee, where I was asked if I could ride a horse. So that was a huge stepping stone for me, getting that opportunity to realize, yes, I can make a living, I can make a career out of this. After that, I was a friend of mine, Tim Brewstead, who was he was cast in the show, Buffalo Bill's Wild West show at Euro Disney. He gave me the opportunity, the connection to make my way over there, where I spent a year doing Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, where we were trained to ride, fight, fall, shoot guns, to play cowboys and Indians, cowboys and indigenous people. It was a great show. I was thankful to be there for a year at the world's largest live dinner theater. But when I made my transition back to here in America, I think there's only a couple trained Native American stuntmen, and I had opportunities from the stunt coordinators that I did know. They referred me to other projects such as The Revenant, where I was given the opportunity to help organize a boot camp that brought a lot more fresh faces, younger faces to the stunt community. So Revenant was another huge stepping stone. There's so many different opportunities. Hell on Wheels was a great project. I went and did the pilot, and then we ended up doing it for 7 years, where I was a stuntman. And throughout the whole series, I probably died over 100 times on that show. So it was everything has been, I feel like I've been connecting dots, and now I'm being able to connect those dots, and it's turning into a magical painting.
I love when you just said you died 100 times, because the hero's journey, you have to go into that death, go into the valley of death in order to rise again. And you've had that opportunity through your acting. How does that I know there's a toll that stunt actions have on your body, though, right? I mean, it's such a physical art form, and to be able to rise from that as a principal actor, and not just be in this very physical side of it. What's that been like for you?
It's been great to have that experience. Again, I didn't, my training for acting, I think, came from doing stunt work, being, learning through experience. And I'm thankful that I'm able to transition now into the leading roles and give my body a break. But it's been great to be able to, I've had dreams of, riding a horse in the desert, and that just happened when I did the show That Dirty Black Bag for AMC on, I was able to ride through the desert in Morocco. And it was a great experience, to be able to travel the world. And I feel like everything that I've done has been a stepping stone. The more, if I had any advice for anybody, is to learn as many special skills as you can. They all become, part of the package. And so my experience, I think, the package is getting better and better and better.
Do you have a dream role that remains, something that you hope for in the future?
Oh, a dream role. How do I, when I did Wonder Woman, I was like, hey, how do I beat this? And everything else that's coming up it is bigger and better. My life is so enriched, with the people that I've met, the connections, the opportunities. And again, that understanding of my own emotions and communication has been very vital.
In the film and television industry, can things be done to make it a more welcoming environment? What needs to happen to make film and television more diverse?
I think taking back the narrative, I think that opportunity is right here, right now. I did a show, for AMC, where the original writer was non-Indigenous, but now that we're doing the story, they have numerous Indigenous writers in the room taking back that narrative. So I'm very thankful to be in this time of life where, there's so many opportunities to reclaim that space, Indigenous space, even when it comes to fashion. I've recently walked the runway for Lauren Good Day at Santa Fe Indian Market, and I know I'm not a model, but I guess I'm an actor and I can act like one. So I think just, having that opportunity to take back the narrative and tell our own stories.
Beautiful. I can't think of a better model for people to follow. I think that we need role models in our society, and I'm so grateful that you are are such a great role model for people. You've spoken at many universities. You've put so much of your time into teaching and preserving language. What's the cost of doing that kind of philanthropic work?
Oh, the cost.
I mean, is the time you put into that? How does that impact your life?
Even when I'm not working and I'm working. I mean, I don't think that it is something that I love to do. I love learning and about myself as well as about different cultures, different identities. The cost. I think it's more of. I don't think I would put it at a cost because I'm the one gaining. It's not costing me anything. So I'm very blessed to be able to enjoy what I'm doing. And you know what? The opportunities, I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't take every opportunity that I could. And again, I'm so thankful for the footsteps that I've taken.
Eugene, it has been an honor to spend this time with you. Thank you for being a guest on the Accutron Show.
Thank you.
Thank
It's
you.
been a pleasure.
Thank you for listening to The Accutron Show. To listen to all of our shows, visit AccutronWatch.com. Remember to check out our special edition Accutron products in collaboration with La Paulina Cigars, Estabrook Pens, Asaline Publishing, and Stave Puzzles. To learn more about the world of Accutron, follow us on Instagram at Accutron Watch. From New York City, until next time, Accutron time. This is Bill McCuddy.